Welcome to SharpenTheHustle.com podcast with Jesse Miller. We're working hard as a given, but results are how we measure success. We interview successful business owners that'll help you sharpen your hustle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to SharpenTheHustle.com. I'm here with Joe DiBianca, president of Joe DiBianca Enterprises. Excited to have you here with us, man. Why don't you take a second and introduce yourself, Joe?
Great to be here, Jess. Thanks for having me on. Again, my name is Joe DiBianca. I am a mindset coach. I reside in Philadelphia, PA.
Very cool, man. I'm glad to have you with us. I've seen so many hashtag mindset coaches here frequently, and we had a great chance to connect the other day, and I learned a little bit more about your services and what really qualifies you to say that you are a mindset coach, and it's an amazing story. So let's jump in, Joe. Tell us how you got involved in this practice.
Really great question, Jess. And my first reaction is always to say it was no accidents in life. Everything is, in my opinion. And there was a point in my life when I was about 34 or 35, somewhere around there, when I felt stuck and didn't know what my next move was going to be. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, and there was that point where I didn't know what was stopping me. And I was in a network marketing company, and I spent 2.5 years in that specific company, and didn't make any money there. Of course, not the company's fault. It was a great company. I just wasn't a fit for me. And someone in that company said, "You got to come see this guy speak," who was a mindset coach. And I was in the market for a coach. I didn't know who I was looking for, just knew I had to have a coach because all the other top income earners were hiring coaches. And I went to see this guy speak, and I said, "Oh my God, he is for me." And that day I set the intention. I didn't even know what an intention was. I set the intention that I'm going to hire this guy. I'm going to be his friend. I'm going to get close to him, and I'm going to be invited to his house. And all that happened. I started to work with him, and we became best friends. And he moved me past a lot of the emotional addictions that were holding me back that I didn't even know I had, which mostly everybody in society has these blocks or emotional addictions from past events. And he moved me past that, and my life completely changed around me. And I became his protege and started to travel with him all over the country, flying from state to state, and also visiting him at his home in Northern California, beginning my mentoring process with him. So after investing thousands of hours with him, and we're still working together, but after investing thousands of hours with him, he said, "You know what, Joe, you got this. You're ready to do this on your own." So it kind of evolved from hiring somebody to becoming friends, and to now to becoming a coach, a mindset coach.
Man, I love this story. I love that you really started with practical experience to get interested and introduced to that service. And so, man, yeah, I love what practical experience does. There's no theory involved in it. You know what works and you know what doesn't work. And so let's talk about how valuable that's been versus some of the other paths to being a mindset coach.
Practical experience as far as what, Jesse? What would you like me to explain?
Well, you literally watched and observed him actually do the thing that a lot of people get taught theory on for years.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that experience.
That experience was amazing. My mentor was a 7-figure income earner 17 times in a row. And he is an absolute expert in human behavior. So to be with him side by side and learning how to do what he does and learning about people and how predictable people are, it's about the 10,000 hour habit, and it's about repetition and experience, doing something over and over and over and over again, and listening to thousands and thousands of conversations of people that had blocks and things stopping them in their life. It was a great experience in that sense, that it really, the biggest part of the experience for me was having been through so many challenges myself as a coach, to make me more relatable to the people that I'm assisting to break through.
That's cool, man. So let's get into the practicalities of what you do and the benefits that you bring your clients. What are some of the major issues that you help CEOs and executives work through? And man, I'd love for you to share your story if you're comfortable with that, and what you had to overcome, the blocks that you faced.
I can absolutely do that. Would you like me to cover the blocks first, Jess?
Sure. Yeah, let's start there and then talk about how practically you help after that.
So at that point, I was stuck in my life. I didn't know what was stopping me, and what we uncovered is that I had a parent, particularly my mom, who always told me how rotten I was, who always told me how bad I was, who always told me how stupid I was. I remember being a little boy and being sick, and she would tell me that I was sick because I had badness and poison in me, and that's why I was sick, because it had to come out. And then moving forward into my life, I was bullied as well, so I went through that, and ran into the gym for escape, and started to build a great body for myself. And I was very image conscious because of a situation that happened again with my mom, who always made me feel less than and not worthy. So I had huge body issues, even being this great bodybuilder. I would never wear short sleeve shirts. I would never wear short pants, because I was always wanted to cover up my physique, because I was embarrassed by it. Because she was embarrassed by it, I was embarrassed by it. She created that in me. So this is all the roadblocks. This is one roadblocks that was stopping me. So once I started to coach, and I realized that, look, there's cause and effect. There's effect, and then there's cause. To have the effect, there's a cause. So that was my effect, feeling of less than, feelings of not good enough. And the cause was my mom, who did this to me. And I had to be able to, I was taught to let that event go, because we attach our feelings to events. The feelings become emotional addictions, and we repeat over and over again. So I had to identify that event and understand why I was feeling this way, and be able to separate my feelings from that event and move past that. And the other significant milestone that I overcame was I had a lot of anger. I was an angry closer, and in sales, you can't be angry, but I was very angry, and it showed up all through my life from the time I was a little boy, in areas in education and relationship. Would pop up everywhere. Now that I'm looking back, I see where it showed up, and it started to blow apart my marriage a few years ago. I was angry at everybody, and I didn't know why. And what it was from being molested for 4 years straight as a little boy, being violated in every single way by a guy in the neighborhood, and I didn't share it with anyone. So all that was repressed. All that was inside, and it was started to pop up, and it was finally blowing apart my life. And once I identified what the anger was, I was able to let that go as well. So there were significant blocks in my life, which, having overcome all that, has made me such an effective coach, because I've been through a lot, especially drug addiction as well. That molestation, all those years, the effect of that was a drug addiction. And a lot of the other boys who were molested by this guy, it was a whole neighborhood of us. Crazy story. They died from drug addiction. The cause was the molestation. The effect of the cause was the drug addiction, from burying those repressed feelings. I made it. Most of them did not, out of that situation. So they were the biggest blocks that I had to overcome to live and step into my greatest life, which is I'm living now.
That's awesome, man. I love your story. And it always amazes me how insane pressure and obstacles that we face crushes some people, and other people thrive as a result of it. And you talked a lot about how you overcame those things, but man, I'd love for you to break it down. Man, if this conversation highlighted that in somebody's head, what would you tell them right now to not go back to that depressed state, or not go back to that suppressed emotion? How talk directly to them, man?
It's about letting go. You have to identify why you're doing what you're doing and why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because the depression and whatever you're feeling is an effect. There's a cause out there that is causing you to feel that way from past events, from feelings of past events that you attach. So if you're feeling a certain way, find somebody like myself, qualified to, or somebody to guide you to begin the process of change and of letting go of that which does not no longer serve you.
That's awesome, man. I love that. If you weigh your beliefs by, does this still serve me? Man, that's a great question to ask to highlight some areas to work on, isn't it?
It's a great question. What's taking your emotional energy?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joe, why don't you talk about specifics and results that you get for the people that you work with? What are some of the common themes that you see in your practice?
A lot of the common themes that I see are the exact things that I went through. There are a lot of people who come to me that don't know why they get on the phone with me at first. They believe that I can help them through something because they obviously can't identify what's going on with them, but I can almost immediately. And they come to me with feelings of less than, with feelings of not good enough. Common themes of procrastination. They procrastinate in isolated areas of their life and don't know why. So procrastination is an effect. There's a cause to it. I am attracting people. Well, I mean, if you look at statistics, about 3 out of 5 people have been molested. And a lot of that is being repressed. People have a difficult time talking about it. And I'm attracting people who have been in that situation. And because of my experience, if I share my story with them, because I can tell by talking to somebody if they went through it, once I share my story, it gives them a safe place to open up. So I find that that's a lot as well. And there's people who are in business and don't understand why they're having challenges in sales, why they're having challenges closing. I find that there's deserve issues. There's asking issues that come from past events that have created this feeling of not asking for what we deserve in our life and not believing that we deserve to receive or are not good enough to ask. Because, for instance, people have been in relationships where they were stifled and told to be quiet. The children are to be seen and not heard. And that happens to a lot of us, where we get silenced, where our parents say, hey, you're asking too many questions. You're bothering people. And that sticks with people. And in sales, people have challenges because of past events in their lives. So I see a whole multitude of situations from people.
It's cool. Those are some great symptoms. If you can think of others, I'd love for you to talk about it. But let's say somebody from this conversation recognizes, I have these symptoms. I probably need to talk to Joe. What's the expected outcome? What's the transformation that you can assist them with? What expectations should they put on a conversation with you?
The expectations that they should have are to come into my conversation relaxed and ready to share, just as I did on my first coaching call. It's what will happen is we'll have a very relaxed conversation, and I'll very carefully expose some things that I hear and see that are stopping you. Not everything, just little bits at a time, to give you enough to create a decision whether you'd like to work with me or not. So, it's a very relaxed conversation that we will have. And I will point out some things that are stopping you that are almost apparent in every conversation that I have in a complimentary 20-minute coaching call that I do with everyone before they get started with me.
And I love the point that you try to unfold it in a way that they can handle. I think that's incredibly valuable in coaching. One of the worst things I've seen people do is hit somebody with 10 issues they're facing right now and not help them progress with that. So, man, I really appreciate that and what you're saying there.
Thanks, Jess.
So when you engage with the client, let's say they buy whatever your packages are, let's say they engage at the highest level with you, what can they expect to unfold in their life as a result of that engagement?
They could expect a lot of aha moments, a lot of releasing of the feelings. They're going to experience what I do is I raise your level of consciousness. You see, change is a process and change is a choice. And if you don't understand why you do what you do, you can't change it. So I like to call it carefronting, not confronting, but carefrontation. And that's what I do. And I raise your level of consciousness and you begin to catch yourself, if you will, during your daily activities and begin to identify those behaviors that are not serving you and have not been serving you. And you're able to go back and create different decisions and let go of those beliefs and those feelings that you attach to past events. And I assist my people to create a whole new different set of beliefs for themselves moving forward. It doesn't come without work. If you're not willing to put the work in, you won't get anything out of it. But there is some work. There's lots of looking in the mirror.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I know that process, you need help with it because looking at the mirror and understanding that stuff, it takes a load of balls really to step in and look at it and say, all right, man, here we go. I'm going to work on me.
Indeed.
So that's awesome that you're there to assist with that process. So when you're working with an executive or a CEO, how much more ability do they have to engage with their business as a result of your work together?
It really increases dramatically, Jess. I don't have a number to put on it, but things begin to shift because people tend to look over there for change. They're looking outside for change. Yeah. If you look in the mirror, that's where change starts. Yeah. So as you begin to change, as you begin to raise your emotional level, you see, there's the law of attraction, which we all know, but what they leave out is the science of it. And the science of it is to raise your emotional energy, because the lowest form of energy you can transmute is guilt, shame, anger, resentment, overwhelm, anxiety. And if you draw a pyramid, this is a transmutational energy chart, those feelings go right down here at the point. Now, as you rise up the chart, there's joy, there's bliss, there's happiness, there's love. And as you change your emotions and release those emotional addictions and step into the higher level emotions, you then begin to attract those type of people into your reality. So your entire reality changes as you begin to shift and release those emotional addictions.
That's so cool. It's one of the markers I look for when I do my 360 evaluations, which is where I go into a company for a few days. One of the first things I'm judging is everybody in an anxious state here? Because if they are, I know that they're only engaging at low level activities. There's no ability to engage with the higher level activities like the leading and guiding of your business, which is what you have to do to make it grow, to make it scale. So, man, I love that insight. I love that description of it, man. Very, very well fitting. So, Joe, tell us where you're headed with your business. What are you looking at for your business specifically? How are you going to contribute at higher levels to your clients over the next couple of years?
Jess, I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing, continue to create that ripple effect in people's lives, continue to change lives. And it really inspires me when my people have breakthroughs. That's what inspires me. And, I don't know where this is going to take me. I know if I keep on doing what I'm doing, I mean, the sky is the limit, not only with my business, but in the effect of change that I'll have in people's lives.
So cool, man. I love that. And I know that's what great businesses all come back to, man. They care about the effect that they leave in the end user. And ultimately, a business should be a vehicle to other things for you. And so, man, I love that. I love that balanced statement and that approach to it. So last part of the question. So I love this question just because it really helps jog some cool thought processes. If you had no emotional or no relational capital and no funds, what would you do today to earn an income and provide the life that you want for yourself and your family?
If I had no funds, what would I do?
Yeah, no cash, no relational capital either. So you can't, there's nothing. You have to introduce yourself. You have no physical capital to throw at that. How would you create a living for your family?
How would I create a living? So take me and put me in a totally different state. That's for me, that would be pretty easy knowing what I know, because I would get out there.
Yeah.
I would get out there and introduce myself to people and start building relationships again, because people are our main source of information. And it's all about people and relationships. So I would go out there and build a whole new network and new relationships again.
It's awesome. Is there any like specific thing that you'd start with? Any groups that you'd focus on connecting with, or would you just go out and stand on the street corner? I mean, I'm intrigued by this.
That's interesting, because I've done a little bit of both. I would go most likely to the restaurant industry, because I was in and out of that for 20 years, and
Cool.
That's what I know. And I've also, for another business that I do have, I've put a big whiteboard on the sidewalk, and I sat on the bench and put the whiteboard right out here on my street corner in the city, which is a high traffic area, that says, if you want to fire your boss, see the guy on the bench, with an arrow pointing to me. So,
hey man, that's an awesome marketing strategy. Tell me some of the results of that. That's really intriguing.
The results were a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
They were the results, because people, they start looking around, and then they see me and I would wave, and they would come over and introduce themselves. So the result of that was great conversations and relationships that were built.
That's cool, man. Did it turn into any paying client work for you?
This was for my other business. It wasn't for my mindset coaching practice.
Okay.
It turned into a few, yes.
It's awesome. So you don't need a huge budget to market effectively. You just need a sign and a bench and traffic.
It's all about you and the value you bring. It's guerrilla marketing and getting out there and getting in front of people and connecting and being vulnerable, because we're taught that vulnerability is a weakness, when in reality, it's our greatest strength. And if you really want to connect with somebody, open up your heart a little bit, and then the connection goes like this.
It's so cool, man. So can you let's talk about the mechanics of that. Why do you think that is that way? When you're vulnerable, how it brings people to you?
You're real, man. You're real. People can identify with you. When I share my story about body image and feeling less than, and especially my molestation story, when I share that in front of a room of hundreds of people, the tears, and it's a connection, because they know you're real, and it gives them hope, because they see that I overcame what I overcame, and that's a lot, and they can do the same.
Yeah, I love it, man. I see it all the time. Marketers making claims of how positive and how beautiful the world is, and you're right, man. It just doesn't connect with a lot of people. The pain is what helps people understand that you get them and that you know that experience. So, man, that's awesome, awesome stuff right there.
People want to see your hair messed up. They want to see the mascara running down your face. That's
Yeah.
what they want to see.
Yeah, because that's the way they feel typically.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
And then if you can meet them there and show that there is hope, then that's incredibly valuable. So, man, very cool stuff. Joe, we've had a great conversation. I know there are going to be some people that want more information about you and your services. Tell people the best places to find you and connect with you and schedule that 20 minutes that they need.
Jess, thank you. I can absolutely do that. You can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Joe DiBianca is my name. You can also go to my website, joedibianca.com, joedibianca.com. You can schedule your 20-minute complimentary coaching session there, or you can simply message me on Facebook. I'm very easy to find on social media.
Awesome. Is there any last message you'd love to tell anybody that may be listening to us?
Yes, you absolutely deserve to have it all.
I love it, man. Great message. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for the insight that you shared, man. Incredibly
Thanks,
valuable.
Jess. You're an awesome guy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, man.
Bye, Jess.
See you later, bud.
You've been listening to SharpenTheHustle.com podcast with Jesse Miller. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show, or to listen to past episodes, check out SharpenTheHustle.com.